Welcome back to another episode on the Aaron Doughty podcast. My name's Aaron Doughty, and I actually just got done recording this podcast that you're about to listen to. And in it, I go over the whole entire shadow and the truth of some things, honestly, I'm scared to share when it comes to what it took to manifest 1 million subscribers on YouTube. There's shadow aspects of this that drove me for years, and I wasn't really even aware of it. Of course, a lot of it stems from childhood experience, sense of worthiness, and a lot of people that do accomplish things in their life, their goals, it might be using this kind of energy, but I want to share with you how I literally transformed my identity from working a 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes to living my dream life as a full-time YouTuber, but also how I had this goal in my life for a long time of this vision of creating and getting that gold play button that recently I received that inspired this episode, but I thought it was going to feel this amazing way and there's going to be this level of status to it, and then realizing what was really driving me to do that and almost feeling a little bit ashamed that drove me for so long. And I want to share with you what it took, what I learned along the process of transforming my identity, really. A lot of this, what this is of transforming your outer reality is transforming your inner identity. Share with you the different tricks and things that I learned with that. Pretty much step by step, and also the ramifications and the side effects of doing all this, because there's side effects of my own privacy. There's side effects of, when you want something, you have this vision of why you want it, but then when you're in it, it's natural for you, so it's not on this big pedestal. That's why it's important to make things natural, not to have it on this huge pedestal, it'd be really cool if it happened type thing. But realizing that if you're always identified with the future, it's going to take away from you enjoying this present moment right now. So this is something that I think is also, it helps us to get into raise our vibration. When you're doing what you're passionate about, you're in a higher vibrational state. That's why being connected to your heart is so important. I believe I am connected to my heart, even though I'm going to be sharing some of the shadow aspects of this in this episode. But doing what you're passionate about is one of the best ways to raise your vibration. Another amazing way to raise your vibration, as many of you know, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, is by putting high vibrational foods into your body. Make sure you're getting the phytonutrients you need. Make sure you're getting live foods. And many of you know, if you've been listening to the podcast, that one of my go-to favorite things that I take is a brand called Organifi. Organifi has that of the green juice that I take every day, the red juice I take some days when I remember. Really, it's the green juice and the protein. I take the protein at least twice a day, and it digests really well. It's got enzyme in it. It's a vegan protein, very high vibrational, and it's part of my daily routine. Remember, what you do on every single day compounds over time, and the things you put in your body over time compound as well. And I don't drink caffeine. Not that makes me better than anybody. I don't drink. I do the things I do are things that have positive side effects, and Organifi green juice is what I use for energy when I need it, but also it's how I normally break my fast. And they're just the highest vibrational supplements that I found, and I use them every single day. And if you want to give them a shot, there's also something called Organifi Gold that you drink at night before you go to bed. It's early in the morning right now. So these are things that I do that really impacts my sleep, my energy, which are very important for going full-time, doing what you love. So if you haven't checked it out already, you can go to Organifi.com/Aaron. That's Organifi.com/Aaron, AARON. And you will get 15% off. You just apply the code that's at top. Get the chocolate gold. That's for nighttime. The greens, the green juice, drink that during the day once or twice a day. And then also the protein, I like the chocolate the best. I make a chocolate ice cream almost every single day. There's another episode I did where I actually gave the recipe for that. But once again, last time, if you want 15% off, go to Organifi, Organifi.com/Aaron. Check it out, 15% off with the code that you apply at top. With that being said, let's get into this rest of this episode right meow. Welcome back to another episode on the Aaron Doughty podcast. On this episode, I'm going to be sharing with all of you the shadow that has come with going through the process of what we could say manifesting 1 million subscribers on YouTube. But also I kind of want to share the different aspects of goals and really creating your own dream lifestyle, but what really may be motivating that under the surface that you're not aware of. And that's why I wanted to kind of get vulnerable with you all in this episode and share with you a little bit about my own thought process between going from that 9-to-5 job, selling women's shoes, working a job I wasn't really passionate about, to then going full-time doing what I love by really changing my sense of identity, changing the way I view myself. And then what kind of motivated me, because I think I went through different phases as I was creating the kind of reality that I'm in now. Not even, because creating the reality I'm in now is implying that it is almost like created, versus it was more of a reflection of my own inner change. So creating the outer reality was really about changing my inner reality. And when we talk about that of manifesting 1 million YouTube subscribers, now the reason I'm also talking about this is I had this big epiphany yesterday. I was telling some friends about it. So recently, as in a couple days ago, I received the plaque that comes with when you hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. They send you this gold plaque that has your name on it, that says like congratulations. And this plaque is like a symbol of the accomplishment of growing an audience. And it's something that you'll see a lot of YouTubers talk about. They might do like a Q&A and like be sharing their gold plaque button, or whatever you call it. It's like a gold play bar or something like that. But it's something like, it's almost like a trophy to some people, I would say. And the funny thing is that back in 2017, when I first started on YouTube, my first goal was 100,000 on YouTube. And really the goal was to get out of the 9-to-5 job of selling women's shoes, working at Barney's, New York, which is something obviously I wasn't passionate about. And I remember one of the first things I had is one of my screensaver on my computer is I photoshopped myself, like a picture of me and my YouTube channel. Because at the time I had like 300 subscribers. But what I did is I photoshopped my name and I put like 126,000 subscribers or something like that. And then that was the background on my computer. And every single day what I would do is I would look at that and I would kind of think and imagine, oh, feel grateful for that already being in my life, and seeing myself as that's my reality. And then what happened is I remember one time my sister came into my room and she saw that desktop and she goes, oh, you had that happened? Like you have 100,000 subscribers? And she was all excited. And I was like, no, I photoshopped that. I photoshopped that because that's something I want to manifest in my life. I explained to her visualization and stuff like that, you know? So that was the first goal. 126,000 something, but really that was just the symbol, but 100,000, the gold. So, but part of the goal of it was the visualization of me having the silver play button. So they give a silver play button once you hit 100,000 on YouTube, and they give you a gold play button once you hit 1 million on YouTube. And the silver was like the goal in my mind. I was thinking to myself, oh, having that would just really symbolize to me this hard work. And that was like something that was in my mind. And I guess that was a part of the manifestation process, you could say. Well, what happened is in February of 2017, many of you may know the story, is I was working that 9-to-5 job, working 40 hours a week. And then I just had this epiphany one day. I was living at my dad's house and I was trying to make it on YouTube, and I felt like just things weren't moving. I was making a video like once every week, once every 2 weeks, but nothing was really picking up. So I said, I just had this feeling. It was almost like my future self was talking to me or sending me a message or something, but I got this download. And that download said that if you make a video every single day for the next year, your life will completely transform. That was the message I got. And in that moment, I felt it. It wasn't just a thought. It was like something I felt. And I just decided in that moment, it was like that. I'm going to make videos every single day, no matter what. And then I started making daily videos, and I started finding new things to talk about. I was always doing research anyways. I've always known I wanted to like be on YouTube or just be sharing ideas with people and helping people like awaken their consciousness or whatever you want to call it. And I started making daily videos, and sometimes it wasn't easy. I'd be working that 9-to-5 job, and I'd sometimes, because I'm in Vegas, right now I'm in Sedona, but I lived in Vegas, and the store, we were open at Barney's New York till 11 o'clock on weekdays and midnight on weekends, on Friday, Saturday. And sometimes I'd get done at like 11 or 12 in the, 10 a.m., 12 a.m. I'd go home. I would film, edit, schedule a post to go out, and then go to bed and do it all over again. It was like busy, but I stuck to that vision. I stuck to it. I wouldn't let myself veer off of it. And eventually what happened is things started to grow. I had one video that went viral. It was a very cringy video. It was a video of, if you go to it, it's like most powerful technique for, what is it? It's like the most powerful way to reprogram your subconscious mind. And in it, I'm like, I have these big bug eyes where I'm doing this, like, I'm like, and in it, I remember the thumbnail said, do this before bed. And that was like, thumbnails are huge on YouTube. And that was like a thing that really made it. So then I started learning, right? I started learning, hey, this kind of thumbnail did well. This kind of video did well. People like the techniques. So then I started sharing more techniques, more law of attraction things, more subconscious mind things. I just started following that thread. And what happened is that first video went viral, and then there was more that came, and I was still working that 9-to-5 job. I could have left Barney's. I left in August 2017, and I started making daily videos in February 17. So February, March, all of February, March, April, May, June, July, 6 months. And in those 6 months, that was a huge pivotal time of when things started to shift. Just things were growing, and I started to feel the confidence of it. I remember I asked like another YouTuber that was a little bit ahead of me. I was like, how many subscribers do you need before you can go full time? I thought it was like a subscriber amount or something. He's like, it's not a subscriber amount. It's just you got to learn, how to either take coaching clients. You have to learn how to do something with the people that are watching you. And I was like, oh, okay. And that's when I started learning about the different aspects of business, and I became very passionate about that. But the first goal, and by August of 2017, I think that was also the time I hit 100,000 on YouTube as well. It was close to that time. And that's when I remember my last day was the Conor McGregor Mayweather fight. That was the last day that I worked because I knew it'd be busy that day. Went in, I requested to open that day before I put in my 2 weeks because I knew they wouldn't give it to me otherwise. And then worked that day, made a lot of money, then went home, and that was my last day of ever having a job. Now, ever since then, though, and just in general, the reason I'm sharing all this with you is in case you haven't heard my story yet. You're one of like the people that hasn't heard it. That's kind of, and then I just continued to make daily videos. I made daily videos for like 3 years in a row. And even in the mind, even after 100,000, I just had this vision of getting the gold play button. The gold play button that says 1 million subscribers, that was the goal. I would go to bed and I would think of it. And here's the shadow of all of this, though. The shadow is that a lot of what I was craving, even though it was a symbol, I guess, of this gold play button, is I realized that for such a long time, I have craved significance. It was something that I think I subconsciously was after. And significance in the state that if I could have all these people that liked my videos, if I could have all these followers, all these numbers, then maybe I would be more worthy. Maybe I'd feel really worthy and feel very valuable to other people. And yes, the intention, like part of it, of course, is the intention. This is what I'm passionate about. I want to add value. But the root of the energy in the goal of getting that gold play button was that of significance. And I think that stems back to childhood, abuse from 7 to 16 years old, which you guys probably know the story if you've been listening to my content. But I think that I felt not enough. And also, even when I was starting to go full-time on YouTube, I had some family members, like my mom, and who really believed in me and was like, could see that I was going to, putting the intentions in daily videos. I remember the first time I put out a video on Facebook, or just YouTube video in general. I put it out on Facebook. I called my mom and asked my mom to like it on Facebook because I was like so nervous no one's going to like it, But I just remember going over to a friend's house and stuff, and I go over to a friend's house, and they'd be like, "What are you up to?" And I'd be like, "Oh, YouTube," And it was always YouTube, and I was always that guy that was talking about my hobby, but nothing really started. And then when things started to pick up, that, of course, changed a little bit. But I remember feeling the doubt come from some people I would talk passionately about it to. And I remember just even some other people that would doubt me, even people I used to work with. I could just tell them, say, "Yeah, that's not going to happen, bro," type thing. And that was like something that also I wanted to prove. I wanted to prove it to myself. I wanted to prove that I could set my intention on something and accomplish it. But also, I think that underneath that level of significance of feeling that was a way of me craving being worthy was also a desire to prove people wrong that didn't believe in me so that I could finally become enough. So that's something that this year I've been learning to let go of it more and more. Not to identify so much with this persona, because I am a person that there's it's interesting because, even when I meet people in public or if people recognize me or something from YouTube, when I was back in 2017, I probably would have thought that'd be the coolest thing ever. Good to go somewhere and then people come up to you and you're like, "Oh, you feel so cool." But that was the significance inside. And craving that. And now that I, in a way, have that reality, the difference is that it's just natural. It's not that I expect it. I'm not going out like, who knows me? I remember when I first had, there's just all these misconceptions in the mind around the shadow of accomplishing certain goals. Another one was when I got the silver play button, literally like the day I had a video that started going viral that I actually filmed in Sedona, and it was on 5 things you must give up to raise your vibration instantly. I remember the title. I remember I filmed it at a resort here, outside. It was a cool video. I went to bed one night and I was at 97,000, 98,000. I woke up the next day, I was at over 100. I grew by 2,500 subscribers in one day. And that was really exciting. I had a video that's going to mega viral. And I was trying to plan out what am I going to do, a Q&A or something like that, but that happened so fast. I remember just thinking, maybe when I go into the gym or something, people are just going to start recognizing me at 100,000. That was the idea in the mind. And that was a goal? I don't even know. Now that I can see how much significance, which means wanting to feel important and in other people's eyes and feeling worthy. But its significance is feeling worthy from a level of not already feeling worthy. So craving it on the outside. So the irony and the funny thing about this whole thing of I just received that gold play button 2-3 days ago is a lot of the goals I've realized that I've achieved in my life, just hit goals, visions, whatever it is, by the time you achieve it, it's just natural. It's just natural. It's just a part of reality. It's not this thing that's on a pedestal. And when it isn't on a pedestal, it's vibrationally being butchered up. So if you say, it's very important that this thing happens, it's very important I meet this person, it's very important I achieve this goal, it's very important that this, then that importance creates resistance around it. It puts it on a pedestal. And what happens is then a lot of times it's blocked. Now, the key though is seeing it as natural for yourself, but it's not about the thing that you achieve, it's about the person that you become. Now remember, Wayne Dyer said, you don't get in life that which you want. You don't always get in life that which you want, but you always get a reflection of who you are. And a lot of what I've done over the last 3 years is I've developed the skills, the work ethic, the determination, the commitment to an ideal reality that I prefer, that I committed to with consistency. That one choice that I made back in 2017 to make a video a day, that really catapulted a whole new reality because then I held the frame. So if there's one thing that will change your life the most, is a combination of these 2 things. Do these 2 things if you want to really create your dream reality. This is what I did. 1, Make a new choice about who you are. I made that new choice by making the choice to make daily videos on YouTube, no matter what, even when I had the 9-to-5 job, even when I was making videos, getting barely any views, like less than 60 views a video. But I committed to that vision. But then the second thing that a lot of people miss is hold the frame. Holding the frame means that you stay committed to it and trusting the vision. Maybe it changes a little bit. Maybe you get insights about it, but you keep going with that vision, especially when it's connected to your heart. And what happens is it's going to be tempting because the way reality works is there's a somewhat of a delay in our reality. We get a reflection of who we are being, but the moment we change, we say, oh, I'm being someone new now, we may look out and be like, nothing's changed. But that's because there's a delayed reaction. And as time goes on, it feels like this delayed reaction is going away more and more to where you just really have to be in alignment and integrity with yourself. But hold the frame, as in keep trusting the process, keep doing it. Realize that what you do and how you think and how you show up every day is how and who you become. That's why a lot of what I talk about as well is mastering your 24 hours in a day, doing what you're passionate about every day, meditating right when you wake up, right before you go to bed, neutralizing those thoughts. That's very powerful for this, but those two things I think will completely change your life. Make a new choice about who you are, a new choice about your identity, and then secondly, hold the frame. Hold the frame, that's who you are now. And what happens is then it puts you on like a new timeline. And that's what happened to me. I went on that new timeline. And even then, I was making daily videos, and I started, the shadow of also making the daily videos was that I began to develop this belief system that I had to work very hard to be successful. And yes, I enjoyed making daily videos, but realize that one thing that happens is as you grow, the intentions and the energy begins to change a little bit. Maybe what was important in the beginning isn't as important now. It was important in the beginning for me to make daily videos, I think, to gain momentum. But then I had the momentum, and I still felt like I got to make it every single day. I would make a video, no matter what. I'd be on vacation, make a video. Important things. I got something going on in my life, still make a video. And I remember that honestly what it was is one time I went to plant medicine. I did ayahuasca in 2017 and 2018. I do it in November every year. I go to Costa Rica for it, a place you can legally do it, safe, doctors on hand, and it was, I never thought I'd see myself doing that at all, by the way. I was like, no, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of this stuff. There's no way I'm doing that. But then it's just very powerful for bringing up this stuff. And one of the main messages I always get is to let go. To let go of control. To let go of believing that everything has to be hard. And I have to try really hard to be successful. I have to try really hard to make things happen. And I realized I wasn't really enjoying life that much. A lot of the path to gaining this gold 1 million subscriber play button has been me not enjoying the journey as much. Me externalizing and looking to the future for some goal. Thinking about the 1 million subscriber, the gold play button. Now I have it. And I'm telling you, a lot of times when you have and you put your goals on this pedestal, by the time you reach them, you'll get a little bit disappointed. Because it doesn't feel as good as you think it will, because then the mind, the ego, just externalizes and says, what's next, what's next, what's next? But that's when it's rooted in significance especially. Significance is gaining value from either other people, wanting approval and validation from other people, and the numbers, thinking that it makes you more worthy, whole, complete. So when I received this gold play button a couple days ago, I didn't feel, but there was something about it that made, I almost felt like guilty, like I shouldn't celebrate because in a way, in a positive way, it made me see how far I've come. Because before I'd be showing it off on Instagram. I've had it for 4 days now, and I haven't even shown it on social media at all. And normally, the old version of me that was craving significance and feeling worthy would have shared that like there was no tomorrow. Oh my God, guys, look, I'm opening up my 1 million subscriber plaque. oh, thank you, everybody. Thank you. It's all due to you. And then it's like, oh, see, how do people think about me now? Now people are going to see the gold plaque button. They're going to think I'm so cool. That's the shadow. That craves significance. Inside, I think there was my inner child that was wounded in the past. I didn't feel worthy growing up, that craved to become somebody. That craved significance, that craved these emotions. And one of the things that I'm focused on now more than ever is really just feeling worthy for being me and doing what I want to do when I want to do it. I went from making 7 videos a week on YouTube, writing 6 emails a week for my email list, making 7 videos a week on Instagram, 7 Instagram quotes a week, 2 podcasts a week. That's so much content, right? I'm like, do I need to keep this grind going like this, or can I enjoy it a little bit more? Maybe people would appreciate my content more if there's a little bit less of it. That's what was my idea. But also, I'd enjoy myself more. Now I send 3 emails a week, 3 videos a week, 3 Instagram videos a week, 3. It's so much easier. This is my 2nd podcast episode a week. I do 2 podcast episodes a week. But it's just a different mentality. But the shadow and the things I've learned about manifesting 1 million subscribers on YouTube is, here's the thing with YouTube as well. People that get on YouTube to get the numbers don't do well. I wasn't originally getting on to just increase the numbers, but that was definitely in a drive underneath what I was doing, because the primary focus was adding value, creating valuable content. That was the focus. However, people that get on that aren't first off passionate about it, that doesn't express through in their the authenticity means that you have to be passionate about it for it to express to other people, so that other people feel that and they feel contagious to your videos or whatever it is. It has to be connected to your passion. You'll find the videos you do the best at, or that do the best, are the ones that you're the most passionate about. But an important part of this is realizing that connection to your heart. That's something I've learned. The videos as well that did the best were a lot of times the videos I was the most scared to put out. I remember I was kind of like experiencing a little bit of a stagnation, still growing. But then what I decided is I wanted to make videos on star seeds and like this esoteric stuff that people would think was really weird, because I've always made like law of attraction videos. So then I said, fuck it, one day. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to make law of attraction video. I'm going to make this star seed video. And it was something, 3 things star seeds need to know in like 2019 or something. But I remember making that video and just it blew up. And many times, anytime I'm scared to put out a video, those are the videos that end up doing really well. Because also they're a lot of times vulnerable. So that's something that has been very aware of, is that the vulnerability, the authenticity, sharing things I'm really passionate about, and also understanding just the dynamic there. But the thing that I'm doing about significance now is I'm realizing that I have worthy and value for just being me, so I'm not seeking it. And at the same time, though, there's another, the opposite. I don't think the answer is like, okay, now that I received the gold play button, and it's like I don't need to feel guilty. Like, I should still, I think, celebrate it, because it represents the impact. It represents the message and the hard work. But at the same time, it's celebrating not with the intentions of this makes me better than anybody else, or this makes me more important. And I think that it's the intention and the energy behind it that is the most important thing. Just your goals in general. You know, I'm sharing my story with you guys, hopefully, so you could see how your goals and maybe your motivations and the best energy dynamics for your goals. I think it's passion first and foremost. Find out what you're passionate about. If you're passionate about it, not only can it normally do better because there's a higher vibration behind it, but it's easier for you to stay committed to it. Because I'm like, oh, I'm passionate about making videos. It is something that's more fluid for me to do. I remember when I was before I even got on YouTube, I was trying to make passive income online by doing something called Kindle publishing, where you have and hire writers to make books that, you know, have certain topics or certain self-help books, and you put it on Kindle. That's like a business thing some people do for passive income. I was doing that, but I wasn't passionate about it. And guess what? I didn't stick with it. But then YouTube was very different because it felt connected to my heart. It felt like something I was meant to be doing. So be connected to your heart, make choices about who you are, commit to it, and hold the frame. That's up in this episode, that's so far the framework that I'd say is super powerful that I've learned. Now, the other aspect of it is letting go. Part of this is letting go of old belief systems and letting go of even what got you to where you are. Because to get where you want to go, a lot of times it requires something different than what got you where you are. So, for example, I was like making daily videos got me to a certain point, but it's like now I want to transition into other things. Now I'm actually growing a company that I'll be launching soon for connecting people all over the world together, and this is a cool thing. But anyways, it requires more of my attention, so less of my attention towards 7 videos a week type thing, But it was scary for me to stop making 7 videos a week. It was like, I felt like by doing that, like the mind was going to this dark place where like everything's going to crumble if you're not making 7 videos a week and 6 emails a week and 7 pieces of Instagram content a week. All the momentum will die out. That's the belief system. So when I was looking at that, and then I was becoming aware, like, is this true? And seeing to myself that this is just a belief. This is just something I'm holding on to, this old identity, this old way of being. I also realized that I would get kind of like, I was so tired of, like, everyone can, because most of my audience came from YouTube, a lot of people would call me a YouTuber. And it's funny because I saw my identity as being a YouTuber, but yet I was starting to become resistant to where I'm like, I want to be more than a YouTuber. I want to create content. Like, no one calls Tony Robbins or Joe Dispenza. Of course, they're way ahead of me in many ways and their career and everything, but you would never call them a YouTuber. So part of me wanted to break out of it, but part of me was afraid to stop doing the things that was making me a YouTuber. I was mainly focused on YouTube, right? So now I'm focused on other things, but it was also a reflection of my own identity. It was a reflection of how I was projecting myself out into the world. So that's something that I've had to really become aware of, is the significance, knowing I could feel worthy now without seeking it on the outside. It really is about making sure it's what you're connected to from your heart, but also committing to that frame, but also doing it for the sake of doing it. Because when you do that, guess what? You're enjoying the present moment more. Anytime I do plant medicine, it's like, hey, enjoy the moment more. Let go. I remember I was in Costa Rica and I was at those I was like still getting up every day. I'm doing 4 nights in a row of plant medicine, of ayahuasca in Costa Rica. And still every day I felt the pressure to make daily videos. And then after like the second night, I'm like, wait, let go. If I let go of that control, of that need, then guess what? I feel more free. And that's when I really started to become more free. And I started to become aware of that belief system that was driving me. So becoming aware of these things is the key to freedom. It's awareness. But also realizing, why are you doing what you're doing? Find your why. And when it's connected to your heart, when it's connected to a larger vision, a larger purpose, it changes everything. Towards the beginning of the year, I was going through this massive yin phase where I was like healing, doing a lot of shadow work. My focus wasn't primarily content. It was like doing my own personal growth. But I could tell that I was lacking in like my vision for how I wanted to impact people, my vision for what I wanted to help create in the world. And that's important though. Have a vision in your life. Have a vision for what you want to create. Another thing that I want to talk about with this is sacrifices. There is something, I went out with a friend yesterday, my friend Danica. She's awesome. She has a podcast. We're going to be Danica Patrick. And one of the questions she asked me I thought was brilliant. She said, what is one thing that you had to give up or sacrifice to become who you are now? And one of them, of course, was, we could both agree with, because she's a famous driver, NASCAR driver, or she would, she's awesome. She's really cool. And she's into the spiritual awakening information, has a podcast, stuff like that. But anyways, I knew she could relate to this. But one thing that I've had to give up since becoming more well-known, and I'm not like some elite celebrity in any way saying like, oh, I can't go out to, pump my gas. Oh, I don't have gas. I don't use gas. I have a Tesla. But I can't go out to like a grocery store without getting recognized or something. It's not like that. But one thing that is something that I've had to give up a little bit is privacy. Because even my personal life, because I share it so much on video, it's something that people know a lot about me. They know about my relationships or my friendships or my life circumstances. And when I go out in public sometimes, especially in Sedona, it's very common that I meet people here that may recognize me because this is a spiritual mecca in a way. It brings in a lot of those people. And a little bit of privacy sometimes. You know, when I go to the gym here, there's people here sometimes that I see that recognize me from videos, and sometimes I just want to work out. And it's like, I feel guilty if I'm like, oh, okay, man, I'm working out, you know, but sometimes I got to kind of be like that. But it's definitely like privacy is part of it. But the other thing that I've had to really give up is in the beginning, I remember I had friends that did want to hang out, and I'd have to say no because I have to make videos, and that was, you know, I had to stay committed to my vision. So a lot of times that when you commit to a vision, there's things that you eventually have to say no to, and I had to say no to things that waste my time. I had to say no to things that would take me away from my vision. So these are things that, you know, you might find yourself around people that are bringing your vibe down. And if that's the case, then what you want to do is you want to be aware of how that's affecting you and then maybe choose to let it go. But in general, there are things that you will let go of. Even now, even as I go into this new area of my life where I'm building like a business or I'm building something new that is still connected to what I do, but a little bit different. It's more about a mission than it is my identity, even though I'll be leading it and like, you know, I had to let go of making the daily videos, right? I had to sacrifice my old work ethic. And one of the things that really did change, don't get me wrong, with making daily videos on YouTube is that literally changed my sense of identity because I started to see myself as a quote unquote hard worker. I did have my vision, my before self-image was that I was lazy. I was literally like the person that was on the couch. I was like, think a better thought. Just think a better thought. You know, like, and thinking about what I wanted to create, but I wasn't actually taking action with it. But when I started making daily videos, man, that changed my self-image. I'm like, man, and then I started getting reinforcement for it because I'd meet other YouTubers and they'd be like, how do you make daily videos on YouTube? I'm like, I don't know, but I can, you know? And it was probably a certain level of significance there too, where I felt special. Yes, I can do this thing. But one thing that I had to do was really let go of that. Just in general. So, yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, and I'll tell. This is something I've said many times before. Oh, there's one other thing I'm going to talk about that I want to kind of specify as well. Is so when it comes to privacy, I've had this pattern where I share so much of my life that it affects people that I love in my life, and I'm not even really aware of it because I'm almost kind of naive to how many people see my content. So, for example, I had an episode where I talked about some family dynamics because of the ancestral healing that I was doing. And one thing that I shared in there was I shared way too much information about my family, and especially about my mom. And one thing I wanted to specify to you guys as well is some people, I think, get my mom mixed up with my ex-stepmom. So I just kind of want to specify this just in general. But so my ex-stepmom was in my life from 7 to 16 years old. She was mentally, physically, and emotionally abusive, emotionally manipulative. She started to kind of, in a way, brainwash my brother and I. She took control over my dad in a way, and it was like she was kind of running the show. And what eventually happened is so my dad and mom divorced when I was like 5 years old. We'd go back and forth between our mom's house and our dad's house, like half and half. And then what happened when my ex-stepmom came in the picture, We then, all these rules got in place. We weren't allowed to watch TV. We weren't allowed to have friends. We're just pretty much working all the time. I was like 7 or 8. My younger brother was like 3 years younger than me. But anytime we'd go to our real mom's house, we would then go for 2 or 3 days, and then we'd come back. And when we came back, we'd then get in trouble immediately. Our ex-stepmom would punish us. We'd be in trouble. And basically what happened is she'd tell us lies about our mom too. Tell us our mom was doing all this. Like, she'd even get it. One time she got us to write like these mean letters to our mom, which is so ridiculous. But she like provoked us to do this, and we sent her these letters. And that's what a narcissist will do, by the way, do crazy shit like that with kids. But so from 7 to 16 years old, we didn't have a relationship with our real mom, which really sucked. And at 16 years old, when my dad finally divorced my ex-stepmom, we then reintroduced with our real mom. My real mom is amazing. My real mom, I have some of the best memories in my life with, because I went through my spiritual awakening, and my mom was around. I lived with my mom and my brothers and sisters, but my half brothers and sisters on my mom's side. So I have a lot of brothers and sisters kind of thrown around. But my mom, who did go through a lot of stuff growing up, and we didn't have a relationship within that time. And then 16 years old, we then got closer than ever, and we lived with her, and we were kind of, I went and lived somewhere else, and I kind of merged back with my mom every now and then. And my mom was somebody that was always very open to these spiritual ideas. And when I went through my awakening, in a way, we both went through it at the same time, because I was going through it. I was explaining to her stuff, and it really influenced back and forth. And, my mom's come such a long way too, where she's really transformed from different like habits and stuff like that. She's really transformed herself. I'm super proud of her. But I think because of the story that I guys tell with my ex-stepmom all the time, it kind of overshadows the awesomeness and the amazingness of my mom, who I think is just amazing and who I love very much. So they're different people, just to specify. The ex-stepmom was in my life from 7 to 16 years old. She gets a lot of the attention because that is what caused a lot of transformation, because that was a lot of the pain, and a lot of times pain creates pressure. But after 16 years old, when my mom came back into the picture, we then have a great relationship with our mom. And then I went through the awakening. My mom's very open to this kind of information. And she also kind of had to let go a little bit because of the brainwashing. She fought for my brother and I a lot in court and stuff like that. But the ex-stepmom thing, we'd get punished, and basically she had to make a choice to let it go for now. And that was because it was making it worse for our punishment from our ex-stepmom, if that makes sense. So when I shared that episode, I think I was sharing too much. I overshared, and it's because I want to be vulnerable with you guys. But at the same time, I think what happens is I don't take into consideration other people, especially someone like my mom, who I love very much, and I don't want her to ever think that I'm saying something or. So just in general, I want to say that my mom was not okay with me making that ancestral healing episode. She was not okay with everything that I shared about her. And I just feel like obligated to kind of share that there is a difference between the ex-stepmom and my mom. My mom is amazing. The ex-stepmom caused a lot of pressure, which created me to go through, a lot of stuff that led to spiritual awakening. But on the other side of that is an amazing mom who I'm closer with now than ever before. And I just kind of wanted to share that. But the thing I've had to learn, even just relationships, because I had a relationship that was public and stuff like that, I've had to learn how to not value the content and the creation of everything over the relationship, and what do other people think and what are other people comfortable with me sharing. Because I'm just kind of like, I'm so open with what I share that I'm not aware of how that makes other people feel. And I'm having to learn to kind of separate that a little bit, to like have a private life, a personal life, separate from like the busyness of my personal, like my personal life and my business life. Like, even though I share a lot of my personal life, I have to learn to separate it a little bit more, or to be more mindful of what other people think and how other people feel, rather than just going after it for the content, So, these are all things that I've learned the biggest thing I wanted to say earlier, the biggest change you'll ever make in your life is not from going from making one amount of money to a bigger amount of money. The biggest change you'll ever make is when you go from working for someone else to working for yourself. If working for someone else isn't your thing. For some people, they enjoy it. But when you buy your time back, that is the biggest transformation I've ever made in my life. And there's a lot of people listening to this right now that I think are in a similar spot to where I was in 2016, 2017, where you know there's something else you should be doing, but you kind of doubt yourself. You don't know exactly what that is. You have this like reluctance to start. You started a little bit, then given up, or then maybe started and given up, or not committed to it fully. And the advice that I have for you is to start. Start now. Don't wait. You don't need the perfect setup for everything. You know, I'm not just talking to people if you want to make videos on YouTube or if you want to make content, but I mean, whatever it is, just start. And see yourself as that identity as you start. I saw myself as a full-time YouTuber as I started. And then I became it. And then my thoughts, actions, and everything was equal to it. And it was easy for me to do. You can do the same thing by making a new choice about who you are. If you're an artist, it's not like you have to paint 1,000 pictures and then you're an artist. The moment you start, you are an artist. Take on the identity and just be it. And enjoy it. Milk it. Enjoy the process along the way. And also, I could have gone full-time on YouTube months and months and months before I did if I would have known what I know now, obviously. And a lot of that has to do with, understand you do not need a big audience to go full-time. You could literally do it. You could literally have like 8 coaching clients and be full-time, which means you could have like a couple hundred you don't need a huge social media. It's about the strategy. And if you haven't heard of it, I know I talk about this sometimes, but there's a free training that you can check out. If you go to fulltimepurpose.com, www.fulltimepurpose.com, a free training you can join where Victor and I, my buddy Victor and I, who's also a YouTuber / thought leader, we both help people go full-time doing what they love. And we have a training that shows people exactly step by step how to do it. You don't need a big audience. You don't need the perfect camera equipment. If you have a feeling that you're meant to be doing more than you currently are, and especially with everything going online nowadays, with everything going on in the world, now's the best time than ever before to do it because so many people are going online. So if you want to learn how to do that, having an online business, whether that's content creation, coaching business, a healer, podcaster, whatever, go to fulltimepurpose.com, check that out. I think that will really help you. Other than that, I want to thank you all for being here. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. In general, I also want to say thank you, everybody. Genuinely, not thank you for the 1 million subs. Like, look how cool I am. But like, I really do appreciate all of you. It's really all about you and the consciousness shift that's happened on the planet. And I'm very grateful to be here with you during this time of transformation on the planet. And congratulations that there's a lot of us in the family that are raising their vibe. That's really what it represents as well. So I'd still want to say thank you, even though I'm trying to like really show and express authentically that the significance from it is something that's not my focus anymore, but still genuinely thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the sharing. Thank you for all the love. I love all of you. And I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to eventually be doing live events, pulling people together, creating communities, something I'm very passionate about and very excited for. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And as always, peace, much love, and namaste.